There's a path that we know many people take, seeking truth and some things unexplained, setting out on a road that is mostly unknown, sometimes can cause trouble and pain. Not sure what's ahead, we move on instead, wondering what lies around the bend. In faith we know that wherever we go, we're eternal and this road has no end. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our names. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Now we come together and move along, creating heaven right here at home. We honor the old ways and bless the new. Open our hearts and welcome you. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our names. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Deep inside we all know if we only let go and let God lead, there's nothing to fear. The slower we go, the sooner we know, and everything will become clear. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our names. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our names. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Well, I studied with the best of teachers, from winter till fall. Listen to the greatest speakers in the finest of halls. But until I found the silence, I had nothing to show. Because there's more in a quiet moment than you could ever know. I've traveled to the farthest corners of this world alone, pondered all the great religions that mankind has known. But until I found the silence, I continued to roam. Because there's more in a quiet moment than you could ever know. There's a place in everybody. Just be still and go, and you'll find in that quiet moment all you wanted to know. From the depths of our soul is calling a voice still and small, from a garden full of joy and loving God made for us all. From the heart our spirit's calling, showing us the way home.
Good morning. It's Sunday, August 30th, and here we are again, bringing you services from Center for Spiritual Living, St. George. I hope that you've had a glorious week and are ready for us today. For some reason, my slides are not wanting to work, so I'm going to reboot them. And so we have a great lineup for you today. We have Reverend Julie Lobato bringing us our message. And okay, interesting. And Cheryl is bringing us our Sacred Covenant. Alan Stanley is bringing us our music, and Anita Sheff is going to do our invocation this morning. So I am going to bring Alan up. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning, Marina. Good morning, everybody. I will make a quiet place within my heart. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and now I'd like to bring on Anita Sheff to offer our invocation. Hello, Anita.
I invite you now to enter that quiet place of mind and heart. Prepare ourselves for this time of spiritual connection. Breathe together as one body of humanity. And we breathe with all of life. Eckhart Tolle says, we are here to find that dimension within ourselves that is deeper than thought. And I know there is one infinite, omnipresent, eternal presence that expresses itself in, through, and as all of life. I call this presence God for short, though it's known by many names. In truth, it is unnameable, indescribable, infinite. God is, I am, we are. So right now I make a quiet place in my mind, letting go of any mental chatter or deliberate thinking, so that I am available to the inflow of God as all wisdom, all intelligence. I move into a quiet place in my heart so that I am receptive to divine love, creating expansion and a safe place for every being on earth in my heart. I welcome the living, breathing, powerful, dynamic activity of divine love into my mind and heart, into this day, into this service, and into each individual who participates in any way. I declare that God is, I am, we are the expression of the divine, and all is well. And so it is.
I will make a quiet place within my life. And I will wait upon the moon, wait upon the moon. I will make a quiet place within my heart. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. Now we'd like to bring up Cheryl Barlow to read our sacred covenant.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you for that song. That's one of my favorites by far. So I have been honored to be on the search committee for a new minister, and this is the sacred covenant that we wrote together inviting that new minister into our center. We do use the word God, and as Anita noticed in her beautiful prayer, that there are many words for God. And so if you'd like to swap that out with the word that you're more comfortable with, we absolutely invite you to do that. There is also a section where we know the truth about ourselves and what we commit to. And when I say I embrace, I will leave a gap there in silence for you to input your own personal commitment. So this is a sacred covenant, which is essentially a treatment or a prayer for our new minister. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life, I know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my new minister reveals wholeness. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which we believe, for it is written, "Let us learn to draw the divine substance down into our own lives, and as freely as it has been given to us, let us give it to others. Thus alone shall we be made whole." That's by Ernest Holmes. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as growing the center in joy and prosperity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community knowing the truth about myself. 4, I live the presence and the law of God. I demonstrate wisdom through a mature understanding of the wholeness of life. I am accountable and willing to take full responsibility for my actions. I participate in and support the nurturance and guidance of the community. I act from wholeness and congruence in thought, word, and action. I walk the talk. I embrace. I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, knowing that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and serves the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful, and so it is. Amen.
You know, I was considering doing this song, and there's a strong word in this song called sanctuary. And we get used to the sanctuary. We think, well, that's the center where we can't go anymore. But then I thought, well, you know what? The whole universe is our sanctuary, and we're safe and blessed in it. So when you look at the person next to you in this song, you can look a long ways away and vision them in our sanctuary of the universe. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I love you and God loves you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now raise your voice and repeat after me. We come together. 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 In the name of love. We come together. 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 In the name of love. Now we got a person next to you. Say, I think God is like this. I think there's the person sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. Come together. We 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 come together. In the name of love. We come together. 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 In the name of love. From every part of life, every cream color, people all unite. Honoring the God in each other. Hey, say, Namaste, I pass you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. 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 In the name of love. We come together. 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 In the name of love. We come together. 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 In the name of love. Yay! Thank you all.
Oh, that was such a nice surprise. Thank you, Alan, Chris, and Brianna. Oh my gosh, that was fun. Oh, well, I apologize for all the stuff that went on the screen. I'm having trouble with my slideshow today, so I'm functioning without it. So I'm sorry you didn't have the Sacred Covenant to read along with Cheryl. I hope that it was still meaningful for you. I'd like to read a quote from Ernest Holmes that was provided this month, and it goes like this. It seems to me that it is only as we view all life, everything from what we call great to what we call small, important or unimportant, it is only as we view the whole thing as one stupendous whole, whose body nature is with God the soul, that we shall really enter into communion, into sympathetic oneness and rapport with the reality of all that is about us. I think that's a beautiful quote. I would like to bring in Reverend Julie Lobato. Julie is our speaker today, and she comes to us from Colorado. Welcome, Reverend Julie.
Thank you so much, Marina. It fills my heart with such great joy to be with all of you, this beloved and beautiful and joyful and committed, dedicated community of CSL St. George. And it's a joy and a privilege to be concluding this very powerful month of August with our monthly theme of inclusion in action. And today we are going to do a deep dive into We Are. And that's we are ... So we're going to do a deep dive into really exploring and then proclaiming exactly what we are. So the big part of concluding this powerful, powerful month of inclusion and action is so that we can proclaim a statement of community faith that affirms diversity, which is the beloved mosaic of identity. And as I believe you had in your write-up for this week, I just want to reiterate that we know that what we deeply believe and what we claim for ourselves, for our communities and for the world, has impact. We know this. We know that we are a part of bringing form into being. We know this. We are co-creators. And we also know that that is a tremendous gift and a tremendous responsibility. So when we align with Spirit, we bring true healing and transformation into the world. We build inclusive communities, regions, and countries. We build inclusivity everywhere. So we've been exploring the inherent diversity present in the universe during this month. We most deeply understand and experience spirit and oneness when we do celebrate and understand that we are diverse. It is through building inclusive relationships and inclusive frameworks that we reveal oneness in the world. So my first question to you this morning, it's really an invitation. Think of what the world is like when we all celebrate and understand that we are diverse. So just think about that and envision it for a second. Think about what the world is like when we all celebrate and understand that we are diverse. Imagine every single person on the planet celebrating every other person's on the planet diversity. So now that we have that in our conscious awareness, now that I have created that visualization in my imagination, I want to say that today is an important day because today we are making a proclamation. Today we're going to make a community statement of conviction, an affirmation of the inclusivity that we are building, that we're building within our heart, our thoughts, our words that we speak, the actions that we take within our very own life and in the life of our community. We do this because this kind of clarity, this kind of conviction helps us to create an inner change and a collective change. And we're going to dive deep now into the reason why that is so incredibly important. This was a very powerful week. This was a powerful week for proclaiming a statement of community faith that affirms identity, diversity, and the beloved nature of inclusion. It was an important week for that. And I'm going to share a little bit of why I feel it's been a powerful, important week for that. You know, at the beginning of my week, which is an unusual way to start a week, was being present for a memorial service for a very dearly beloved colleague and friend of mine, Reverend Dr. Kathleen Linover. She passed away suddenly 2 weeks ago, and it was a pretty big shock to all of her friends and her community and the Centers for Spiritual Living community as a whole. Reverend Dr. Kathleen Lenover is a personality and a soul that is huge and profound, and she creates profound change with such a love, such a deep heart and soul of understanding. And then there's some things that occurred within our country this week that I feel is also a powerful showing of shift and change, and an invitation for what it is that we are being called forth to step more into our belief and conviction and spiritual practice. And I don't usually do this, so I'm kind of going out on a limb here. I can tell you that a lot of the things that transpired this week, I felt very angry about. And I don't usually admit to feeling angry, but these were pretty deep, angry feelings that I felt that I really needed to explore as to what's prompting the anger. What is that all about? And it really comes down to, for me, a deep awareness and understanding that I'm angry at the moment because there are literally people on the planet that don't seem to get that every single life is precious and valuable. Every single life brings an incredible gift. Oh, such an incredible mosaic of gifts of wisdom and interest and imagination and art and joy. And so my anger stems from not understanding that there are people on the planet that don't understand that life itself is valuable. Having just experienced the physical loss of a dear friend of mine, this was very poignant in my heart and in my soul this week. And so I looked up, because I know that anger is a part of the grieving process, yet I also know it can be a very beneficial presence in one's life. And I looked it up, and here are some of the values that anger can create for us individually and as a community. It's designed to, it provides us a sense of control in times where we feel like we're out of control. It can energize us. It can motivate us to solve problems. And it can make us aware of injustice. Anger can drive us towards our goals, and anger injects optimism. And so I really got to thinking about that. And I got to thinking about the emotions that go into the feeling of anger, that the purpose and the good effect that can give us. Because I know that absolutely everything has value, and everything unfolds and is created in full and complete support of our unity and divinity and celebration of our oneness. And so that's why I kind of did the deep dive this week on my feeling of anger and emotions. And I also realized I was angry at Kathleen for leaving, because Kathleen's big presence and her wisdom and her joy and her energy it is so important in activating and promoting our teaching and promoting this experience of honoring inclusivity, inclusion, and diversity in our world. And so I was a little angry at her for leaving. Like, oh my God, girl, we need you here now. And so it made me also realize, well, I have a feeling that since Kathleen left us with her physical presence, she was probably called to be even more powerful on the other side of the veil. And so I realized that is also an experience that we get to consciously come to terms with when we are grieving the loss of someone in the physical plane. Just like understanding my anger around some of the other losses of human life, of human value that we experienced this week in our country, that just don't seem to make sense to me. So I know I have to surrender to that which is of a higher understanding with my faith and with my conviction. And so there's this thing that takes place and has taken place for me this week where I I know that as we feel deeply and we experience the mosaic characteristics of living this life that we live, that we over and over and over again remember that we're unified with spirit. And that many religions, many walks of faith have symbolic rituals where we get to symbolically seal our dedication to that faith, our dedication to the teaching and our beliefs about it. There's an ancient practice of laying claim to sacred individual and collective identities in regards to the conviction of our faith. In the Bible, the act of baptism is a sacred covenant. Metaphysically, it can be understood as a symbolic unifying of the individual to God. It kind of brings together seemingly disparate entities that in reality are inseparable. It symbolizes new life. It is a ritual of water and words that helps people understand the relationship that they are in with the divine and with all of life. In Buddhism, people take vows. These promises, the words, and the ritual that surround them speak to which is a perfect aligning of ourselves to the universe, to others, and to a path. And so I asked people this week, what sacred rituals have they participated in to symbolize and seal their connection to the divine, their commitment and their dedication to their spirituality? And I was really surprised. Every single person that I asked, they all said in some version or another, it all pointed to a daily ritual that they had for themselves, for either right before they got out of bed, where they took those few moments to really feel their connection to the God of their understanding, to when they first get out of bed, where they go to a window or they step outside and they commune with the divine, and they feel themselves becoming in alignment even more so, and rooted and grounded to the truth of their being in this relationship with the God of their understanding. Every single person I asked gave me some version of that, of the need in the morning to really be grounded in the conviction and the dedication and the truth of their faith tradition and their belief. Well, I have to say I was overjoyed, because that's really a big part of our message this week is inclusion is a way of life. What we've been covering all this month is inclusion in action. And there's all these different ways for us that we're really being called to be aware of right now, of how we can be inclusion in action. And here's another one, is we know that those who are baptized still have doubts, and those who have taken Buddhist vows can still resist suffering. Baptism and vows and rituals and sacred covenants that we make, community states of conviction and faith, we know that they're not promises that we will never falter and always be perfect in executing our beliefs. They are not one and done magic tricks that once acted on never need to be thought of again. They're meant to be returned to. They're meant to be a way of life. And so what I absolutely loved and adored and appreciated is every person I asked this week about their sacred ritual or their sacred symbolic meaning, where they stepped into a greater conviction and understanding of their faith, what that looked like to all of them was a daily practice, was a daily reminder, was a daily grounding in that. It was their way of life every single day. And so that's our call. That's our call individually and as a community. Our call and invitation is to become so in alignment, to really stop and answer the question of we are ... or the statement rather, we are ... to come in alignment of how we would fill in the blank after the ... of what we are. And then to step into that over and over again every single day of our life, to recommit to our dedication to proclaim who we are and how we are going to choose to take action in our life to be that example, to display that in our lives. So my question to you, my second question to you this morning is, what is your way of life in which you dedicate yourself to your conviction of faith? What does that look like for you today? Is it something that you enter into on a daily basis? Is it something that you look forward to celebrating and coming into a greater awareness and understanding of on a weekly basis? What does it look like for you to dedicate yourself to your faith? What does it feel like? And why do you do it? Why is that important? So what thoughts do you think? What steps do you take to breathe that renewed energy into your spiritual awareness of oneness and the truth of your being? Today, we are being invited to step even more directly, even more clearly, even more powerfully into the conviction of our truth and our faith. You know, with a lot of the effects that we were being shown as to what was happening in our country this week, the actions of those effects, I just finally had to ask myself, and a little background information on me. I live in the mountains with my husband. We don't have live TV here, so I get my news. I find out what's happening in the world intentionally. You know, I look up from certain newsworthy sources and read about what's going on. And finally, this week, because of the deep grief I was feeling that and the anger that it was promoting within me, I finally asked myself, all right, what would Ernest Holmes do this week? What would Ernest Holmes do in this realm of effect that we're experiencing, and all of the different stories? It's almost like, my God, day after day after day this week, it was, are you freaking kidding me? Is what was coming out of me. And so I had to ask, okay, what would Ernest Holmes do? And of course, the answer brought my soul so much peace. And it also prompted me to step even more fully and more committed and dedicated into my spiritual practices. Because what came up as an answer was, well, he would turn away from the effect immediately. He wouldn't give it any power whatsoever. He would turn away from the fact and go to cause. And he would know cause like he had never known cause before. So folks, that is what our invitation is this week, is to step into our faith, commit ourselves, and know cause like we've never known cause before. And that cause that we know is that we are truly one. We are truly not separated in any way, shape, or form from the divinity that has created us, the divinity that imbues us with our beautiful diversity and mosaic tapestry of life. That we are completely and totally one with the divine, and that we are completely and totally one with each other, never separate. That's the cause. That's the truth. That's the truth of our being. And so in coming up with that answer to my question, I chose to turn away from effect. I chose to go to cause. And that is our invitation in the lesson this week. So today we're actually going to have a couple of experiences that speak to a community statement of inclusion and love for similar reasons as to why humans have taken spiritual vows and gone into the baptismal waters for centuries. We're doing this today because we are leaning into the sacred dichotomy that we are at once living in a state of perfect oneness, and at the same time we are being guided in the direction of a more deeply manifested experience of that oneness in our world. What an invitation this week, right? For each one of us to step more deeply into that manifest experience of oneness in our world. Our community covenant, our community proclamation is one for inclusion and love. It doesn't mean that we're never going to struggle It doesn't mean that we're never going to struggle with inclusion or diversity as individuals or a community. Yet what it does mean is really bringing about more of those feelings that I researched this week in wanting to be able to understand and deal with my anger. It means that we may be given an invitation to know a greater truth so that we do not approve of or accept anything less. And that we don't approve of and accept any type of action that is less. You know, I'm going to read to you this statement that really spoke to me this week because of what has been happening within our country. Because I'll be real with you here for a second, folks. It's not super easy to walk that line as a minister in speaking with communities and really wanting to know the truth, reveal the truth, invite people to step into the conviction of their beliefs and not be political. And that the trick is it's not political. It just isn't. When it comes down to fully knowing completely and totally that all life matters, that all life is valuable, that every single life, there is not a single life out there that is more important than another. And this action and activity that seems to be taking place right now, where some people seem to be getting killed more than others, is not acceptable. And I remember reading something a while ago that saying that something's not acceptable really isn't, it's not helpful, because if it's what's happening, apparently it is acceptable. And I'm sorry, I can't accept that. I have to do what I know what Ernest would ask us to do, is go to cause and know cause like we have never known cause before, and step away from effect and don't give it any value. So I'm going to read this statement that really spoke to me this week. And it says, speaking out against white supremacy and race-based violence does not make you anti-white, anti-police, right or left. It makes you pro-justice, pro-Black life, pro-accountability, and pro-racial equality. Caring about the life of another isn't political, it's human. Caring about another life is divinity, folks. It's divine. And that is my proclamation in this moment. And that's my invitation for absolutely everyone to know we are ... and to know without a shadow of a doubt what you would fill in that blank after that ... We are. So I have a video that I want to play for you that, to me, completely and totally summarizes and captures the we are. And it's actually been a part of our lesson this month. It was a video that was recommended for the first week's lesson, and I used it in my community, and I wanted to bring it here and share it with your community today to put the perfect kind of final touches on this powerful month of inclusion in action. And so I will be sharing my screen right now, and I'm going to invite you to feel the music and watch the video and allow your soul to feel what is being sung here, what is being shared here as the answer to what we are ... One world, one people, one tribe, one tribe. What I know
stand all together, one voice saying, yes, we can. Reach one till we pull ourselves up, cause we all one fan. From the rest of the block to the Perry to the rock, we connect that love. Cause the people with power feel the power of the people when we stand as one. Look off the realness, we be indigenous, you heard of us. Think the murderers spreading the love with the water and earth and the stand against it. Gotta know what the purpose is. We ride the climate is change and the signs of the times. It's time to start praying. Pray for the world and community. Prayers are more powerful than words. What I know, we are one. What I know, we are one. Woke up today, hungry for a change, new path to take, can't stay the same. It's been too long, pointing out who's right or wrong. Can you hear me out? All we need is a little bit of love. Take time to heal and it starts with us. Hand in hand, I put my trust in one. World reunite, it's a must. Hold on to hope, we can overload. We can break the code with a single note. Sing out for the world to hear that our time is now. No more for tears. I looked into my son's eyes. A new day and a new life. Lift the violin, dwell so peaceful. Come together, one world, one. What I know, we are one. What I know, we are one. It's who you are, it's who I am. We all need the same blood, we all bleed the same blood. We got beautiful differences. Let me give you a peek over 500 tries, but we all unique. And if we could not compete to eat, nothing compete us. Jealousy is more dangerous than diabetes. See this unity? Imagine what it looked like. You would think we would do whatever it took, right? I would do anything for this good life. We can do anything if we unite.
Young made of you are my savior. So you pray for our inspiration. From the block to your reservation. Any color, all my relations. From the basement, worldwide invasion. Every day we're painting our faces. Fighting back the learning our language. Dancing our dances, saying our prayers.
What I know, we are one. What I know, we are one. We only got one word. We only got one word. We only got one word. All we love is one voice, one choice, one life, one love, one birth. Go back to love. Go back to love, yeah. One people, we stand all together, one voice, we can. Reach one till we pull ourselves up, cause we all one fan. From the rest of the block to the Perry to the rock, we connect that love. Cause the people with power feel the power of the people when we stand as one. What I know, we are one. What I know, we are one. What I know,
So what do you know? I know what I know. I know that we are one. I know that completely and totally in every single aspect of my being. And I know that it is my gift and my responsibility to step into an alignment with the God of my understanding, to breathe life and dedication, to breathe a proclamation of my faith every single day. to take a renewed stance in knowing cause and the truth of my being and every other blessed, precious life on this planet's being. And it is my responsibility to do that on a daily basis. And so I have a great invitation for all of us. I'd like to read a statement of proclamation, a statement of community.
Right this moment, there.
And pardon that noise for a second there. And I'm going to read this, and I'm going to invite each and every one of you to hear these words and take it in. Take it in as all of us, as an affirmation of we are one. We are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees holiness in all of life, remains learners and listeners so that we can grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. And we know that the beloved community is revealed when we love each other well. So you've heard my invitation. My invitation is to answer the questions that I implored earlier in my talk this morning. The invitation is really go within and answer the question of what we are. My invitation is to be clear and in right alignment with the truth of your being, so that you may be propelled in stepping out in that commitment and dedication to be inclusion in action in every single aspect of our lives that's being called forth and that needs us to be. God's got this, folks. God's got this through us. God's got this because of us. And God's got this because we are one. So I just invite us all to go within right now, taking a deep breath in. And taking this deep breath, I literally feel myself renewing the commitment and dedication of the truth of my being. I know that there is only one powerful energy. I know there is only one infinite intelligence. It shows up in life as love, light, peace, power, joy, and harmony. And I know that this one divine energy, this infinite intelligence, is inclusion in action. And I know it operates that way through the means of me. I know that I am that experience. I am that example of the divine in action. I show up. I open my heart and soul, and I know and believe and take action on the fact that there is all life, that all life has value and meaning, that every single life is precious, and that diversity is to be celebrated, and that all life is included in my heart and my soul and in the actions that I take in my life. We are one. I know this completely. And so I feel my heart fill with gratitude in proclaiming this and knowing this at an even greater level of understanding than I've ever known it before, that we are one. And I step fully into it and allow my life to be the example of that proclamation. I allow my life to be the example of my dedication to my faith and my commitment to my spiritual practice and the truth of who I am. I am so grateful for the blessed opportunity to do this and the blessed responsibility to do this. And so with these words spoken, I have released them into the law that always says yes. I surrender now, knowing that it is done and it is so. And I celebrate it greatly. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Julie. That was so beautiful. I appreciated your talk was exactly what I needed to hear today. I'm having similar feelings of frustration and anger and not knowing how to sit with things that I can't control, right? So I really appreciated that. And I'd also like to let you know that I'm going to hold you in my heart, and I appreciate the courage and vulnerability you showed in your grief. So thank you for setting a model for speaking those words out loud and feeling the feelings that we have when we face loss. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, I still don't have slides that are working, so we're going to do our best to try to give you information here at the end of our service. So I have the ticker and stuff below to let you know where and how you can contribute to our financially to our community, and remind you that we do have the Zoom gathering afterwards. I hope you'll join us, because Reverend Julie is going to join our conversation and maybe lead us in a little discussions. Maybe some of those questions, I'm guessing, that she shared with her talk. So please join us. I'm sure you remember that your Zoom link is in your newsletter, and it's also on Facebook, on our Facebook page. And I also want to remind you that if you're in need of prayer or support in any way, our our help circle is going, and of course, and our practitioners are always available to pray for you, whether you have spectacular things going on you'd like to see continue, or if you have some challenges in your life that you would love some spiritual support with. So please do call us and let us know how we can support you. I really loved the statement that Reverend Julie talked about, what white focus on white supremacy is and isn't. I really appreciated the clarity of that statement, and the affirmation that you read about being a diverse community. I just was very touched by that. So thank you. So we're going to close with our normal closing affirmation, which you will not have on the screen to read along. Hopefully, you can kind of echo it as I read it, and and perhaps you know it better than you think you do. So, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do. I am it, I embrace it, and I share it just the way it is and just the way that it is becoming. Thank you, life. Bless you all. Thank you for your patience today and my technical difficulties from Oregon. I forgot to tell you I'm coming to you from Oregon today. I'm on the beautiful Pacific coast. It's gloriously sunny, 60 degrees, and a big break. So I'm having a heat break for you there in St. George. So have a blessed Sunday, and we'll see you next week. Bye.